It's Mike Brennan.
And it's Matt Roush.
And we're doing an extended format here. We had a little technical difficulty there, but we got that solved. And so we have an old friend, a longtime friend of mine.
Long time.
I always get busted.
It's okay, Mike. I'm old.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
old by any standard.
Lisa Vallee-Smith, who co-founded Airfoil Public Relations way back when, about a month before or after. I know it's real close. Before when I started mine program. So we've both been doing this 20 years. And so she also has with her Keith Donovan, who's the new CEO there or president. I'm not sure what the title is.
No, president of Airfoil Communications.
But I'm sure Keith will displace me very soon.
Okay, push you
I don't know
out.
about that.
Since you're an old person, he's going to push you out, Lisa. So
fine.
Just kidding. So, let's talk a little bit about Josh. I've known you way back when I was at the Free Press, and you were at another agency.
Yeah.
Let's talk about way back when, this little ancient history back in 2000. There really wasn't that many or very few technology public relations firms in even the Great Lakes area. You might have been one of the first, right?
That was the plan, that was the strategy, and that was the opportunity that I saw. I just looked around, and I had started a technology practice at Franco Public Relations Group, where I was president, and that practice area was just growing like crazy year over year, and had a vision to start a firm from the ground up that was uniquely designed to meet the needs of technology companies, many of which were startups. That was in the fun wild.com, huge venture funded times. And they were spending a lot of their budget from these investments from the VCs on marketing and communications. And so that was the idea, that was the opportunity. And like any good entrepreneur / fool, I did it. And here we are 20 years later, still going strong.
And I remember you had a little core staff of 6 in the Penobscot building, and I remember way up on the 22nd floor or someplace like that, right?
Wow, you have a freakishly good memory, Mike. Yeah, there were 5 of us, all women, I'm proud to say. And we started up in what was then, I think it was called Start Detroit.
Yeah, incubator, accelerator kind of thing.
Yeah, it was an accelerator. And we were all in one office, and we had our laptops, and that was about it.
And then you went to Southfield for, about 10 years or so?
We actually went to the 1001 Woodward building that is now a Gilbert property. And we were there for, I think, 3 years. And then we went to the Southfield Town Center for almost 11 years. And now had been pre-COVID at beautiful office space in downtown Royal Oak, which suits us perfectly.
Yeah, you're about a mile from the Podcast Detroit studios.
That's correct.
So easy for you just to drive down the street when we had you on the show. So
absolutely.
Matt?
Oh, Keith, give me a little bit about your background and your role as president of communications for Airfoil. I know the firm reorganized in 2018, so tell me a little bit about that too.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I've actually been with the firm for about 14 years now, so I'm a veteran foiler, as we say. But you're right, Matt. We reorganized the agency a couple years ago, and I took over as president of Airfoil Communications. And this was a really interesting time for our business. We're going through a lot of change. We were also launching our digital agency at the time, Airfoil Digital. So Lisa was really kind of creating a real new structure to the organization, having the communications arm as our legacy business, and then adding the digital side of our business. But, in terms of my role in particular, I really kind of work on the front lines with our teams to help them develop and guide strategy, communication strategy for our clients. So I'm working very closely with our staff on the comm side, and or developing strategic programs for, a broad range of clients. But I also, I wear many hats. So I also, lead the sales and marketing efforts for the firm, and I oversee a lot of the operational elements of the firm as well, in terms of bringing on new talent and developing talent within the agency. And as you guys know all too well, things change very quickly in journalism and PR, and that just requires just constant development and evolution of our skills within the agency. And so I spend a fair amount of time working with the team just to, always kind of be on the leading edge of what's happening in our industry.
Yeah, that's kind of a technology business. I pivoted so many times, I feel like a whirling dervish. And so you keep adding, and things work for a while, then they don't work, and you add something new. And so our new wrinkle, of course, is video. So let's talk about trends. I don't know who wants to field this, but what are you seeing moving forward in technology, digital trends, that sort of thing?
I'll let you
Sure.
take that one, Keith.
Yeah, I'm happy to take it. So, boy, that's a great question, and that's a conversation we're having with a lot of clients right now. I think obviously the circumstances of the last 6 months or so have brought about a lot of change in our industry. So, I think immediately right now, COVID is still having a very big impact on our business from a communication standpoint, and that means everything from internal communications, crisis communications work with a lot of our clients. So that's a big piece of it. I would also say there's this continued, I think, focus around cybersecurity and big tech and the idea of transparency in terms of data in the tech industry. That's something that we're dealing a lot with, and I think that's something that's going to impact communications for quite some time into the future. You're seeing a lot of companies kind of have to rethink their communication strategy, rethink about how they're being transparent in their business and the way they're sharing information. And that's something that we're dealing with on a daily basis with clients and helping them kind of navigate that situation.
Lisa, do you have something you want to add?
Well, coincidentally, we did an informal survey of our clients who are mostly communicators and marketers, and there were a couple of things that emerged as very important trends in the near future. And one of those has to do with social issues, social justice, racism, and in particular, diversity, equity, and inclusion in organizations. And so there is also going to be, obviously, a huge shift away from live events, traditional trade shows and conferences. As Keith knows, and you guys know, for how many years have we, gotten ready for the North American International Auto Show and then CES and all those kinds of things, and hardly had a holiday, and that is going to change radically. So, and as part of that, as companies shift their event marketing dollars to other areas, primarily digital, their messaging and their narratives need to shift as well. So that's another trend that we're seeing. Digital marketing obviously is exploding. It's becoming even more so, and social media platforms will continue to be just a mainstay for getting messages out there.
Okay, Matt.
Well, the firm started out as a technology agency. Is that still your primary focus, working with tech companies?
It's a really big part of our account portfolio. And many of these are early stage companies, which frankly, a lot of firms are not equipped to work with. They don't have the experience, patience, and there is risk associated with working with early stage companies. Some of them are wildly successful. It's always a bumpy ride, as you guys know, working with entrepreneurs who are creating the next big thing. But I'd say it's, probably a good 30 to 40% of our overall portfolio if you look at just numbers of clients. There are many tangential industries to traditional technology that have been opportunistic for us as well, including healthcare as well as global mobility.
We only have about 3.5 months left in the year, but you got anything else up your sleeve that you're going to be doing this year?
Well, working closely with our clients, we're starting to get involved with planning for next year. But as part of our 20th anniversary celebration, we did want to do something special for a key stakeholder audience of Airfoils as a public relations firm, and that is the news media industry and journalists in particular. We've been hearing from journalists lately, this is a really hard time for you guys to do your jobs. And in a sense, journalists are really frontline workers for us in many respects in terms of, protecting our freedom and our democracy. And so we have created a film that is a salute to journalists. It's on the homepage of airfoilgroup.com. And it's intended to just say thank you, for the incredible work that you do, and also promotes 2 nonprofit organizations that are working very hard to help protect journalists and help them do their jobs. So something, it's actually just gone live today, so something for your viewers to check out.
Yeah, at least in this country, they're not killing journalists, whereas in a lot of other countries, I'm very much aware that you have a target on your back if you're a journalist. And I've only worked as a war correspondent one time, and that was hairy enough. I can't imagine doing it outside of the United States again. So
there's actually a really shocking graphic on, I think it's the American Journalism Project. The other organization is the Committee to Protect Journalists, but they have a bar graph that shows number of journalists who have been killed. And this year is sadly a record. But we've talked to journalists. These people are getting death threats, news broadcasters, news producers. It's not uncommon. And it's really sad. And we just wanted to say thank you.
okay. I think we're going to, Keith, any final words you want to share here before we sign off for this segment?
Yeah, no, I just want to kind of echo what Lisa was saying about the commitment of journalists in this country. This was a video that we were really proud to make, and it's a proud moment in our history, and we're glad that we can shed a little bit of light on this issue. There are things that people don't understand that happen here in the United States. And to Lisa's point, journalists do get death threats and tremendous amount of criticism in this day and age. So, we're thankful that we've been able to work with so many wonderful journalists through the years. They are really the backbone of what we do. So, we're proud to issue this tribute to them.
All right. Good point to close on.
Yeah, thanks very much, Keith Donovan and Lisa Vallee-Smith from Airfoil Group. I'm glad to have you with us today.
Traditional four-year students love Lawrence Technological University's thriving campus life, but LTU has always met non-traditional students' needs too. Lawrence Tech offers over 100 degree and certificate programs that can get adult students started or back on track. And most of our classes are conveniently offered evenings at our beautiful Southfield campus or online, so you can balance your social, family, and work life even while you power up your career. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.